Okay, so Friday night arrives. I'm off work. There's things I want to do this weekend, and the lighting is horrible in here. So let me try something. That might help. So anyway, Friday night arrives. I got a lot of stuff planned I want to do this weekend. I was kind of bummed out and everything like that. And then a series of events happened where I slept 2 hours Friday night. I was up all night, had things I wanted to do and get done this weekend. And so I slept 2 hours. I get up, I play around, I finally get to town. I trade in some books at a bookstore. I try to get my oil change. I hear about this place. I might be able to finally fix my computer so I can stop recording on, the phone and everything like that. And nothing really works out. The bookstore ended up like changing their policy on like they only give you 50% credit when you trade things in, and you end up having to pay for things. And the old place I was gonna get my oil changed, was closed, and then like the place I thought I might be able to get my computer finally fixed, it was apparently had gone out of business, and so I ended up stopping at a comic book shop. I've stopped at a comic book shop here in the last few weeks, but I ended up getting a box. There's nothing really I want to, buy that's new too much. I buy my stuff online here and there, and I end up like maybe, getting probably like 60 books a year that if I had to judge it and stuff, right? So, of course, I end up like, hey, what's up, guys? Northern Monkey. So I ended up picking up two books, and it was really weird buying books for full price for me. If you watched my channel, I never pay full price for anything, but I was like, hell with it. So I ended up getting Mr. Miracle number three. I pick up this now when, on my orders online for 15% off. And thanks to Twitter and word of mouth in the real world, I'm hearing about Batman White Knight. I assumed this was like an Elseworld story where it was just simply the Joker is the good guy and the Batman's the bad guy. And, I was like, okay, sounds cool. And with how lackluster a lot of most of the comics have been, and nobody's really, and growing up in the 80s where we were like seeing history and we didn't even know it with all these great books coming out like Watchmen and Dark Knight and the big bubble that hit in the 90s and everything like that. I'm not saying that the magic was gone, but there's been a lot of things building up that are going to be pretty cool. Watchmen coming into the DC universe, which still has that tinge of blasphemy for me, and getting this story here that was coming out. I've never heard of the writer, and I was like, okay, it's another take on the Batman thing. We have Batman. We have the dark metal, going on while I'm in at this present time while I'm recording this, and those one shots are taken off and everything. So it's like Batman world. I've seen it before. Batman always sells and stuff. So I read the story, and you can actually go read the Twitter that I had. I was like I was on 2 hours sleep, still couldn't sleep last night too much. But I read this last night, like I said, on 2 hours sleep, and I read the Mr. Miracle, and I was like, Mr. Miracle was some heavy shit on the last 4 pages. To me, this I tweeted it. I tweeted what I thought about this at first reading. I was like, awkward start, strong finish. This could be cool. So I get about 4 hours sleep last night, and I wake up and I'm making my coffee, and I drink that first sip of coffee, and I'm not gonna lie, man, I had a cigarette with my coffee, and it's like this book just jailed in my head all of a sudden about what I really read. And this is an important book. Great sci-fi, a real show of talent of having it to be a writer is where you can say something and show it through the characters and not preach and kind of be the narrator that allows them, hey, what's up, guys? And kind of be the narrator that you don't preach at your audience. You just show the events as they occur and you put out a message. And this thing ended up being genius because it's subtle and it can be read in two ways. Straight up story. When I remember, I'm shooting from the hip here. I had to make this video while this stuff like gelled in my head. But straight up story was I knew he was saying something. It wasn't very heavy handed. I knew the writer was saying something. By the way, the book is by Sean Murphy, and Matt Hollingsworth is drawing. Hey, good morning, guys. All right, good man, good. Sunday morning, a lot of people coming up here. But as the story starts, it starts out with what I thought. We had the Joker in a trench coat. I think he's walking into Arkham Asylum. Batman's all chained up. I've seen this on Batman the Animated Series. I think I've read it in a comic book or two. Batman's in Arkham. Nothing real groundbreaking. And the Joker is sane. Pretty much what I expected. And after reading it, I think that's exactly what the author did, was start out with the familiar. I think that was by design. And then we flash back to a year ago. And we have the Batman and the Batgirl and Nightwing popping up, and they're doing their little chatter back and forth, and they're hauling ass trying to catch the Joker, and Batman's being real destructive, man. He's right. They're poking fun at some of the movies and stuff. Batman's able to like get the Batmobile on top of a bunch of buildings where people live, and I mean he's just like flat out doesn't care who he hurts, going after, real reckless, going after the Joker. We got to get this Joker. And Batman's just had it with him, and the Joker apparently his goal was to find these drugs that are not FDA approved, and for some reason they're in a warehouse. It's a plot device. It was just a flat out plot device, just get the movie, story going, or so I thought. And he finds these medicines, and Batman finds them, and he's almost like hit 3 or 4 people who were on a road crew, and knocked out a security guard and all this stuff. And then the police show up, and Batman grabs the Joker, and he's shoving these pills in him, and the drugs sort of are what they're saying makes Joker go sane. And all these people are rallying around him after his arrest this time, and the police are like, how can people be rallying around the Joker, the killer? I never thought I'd see the day. And you start hearing the police kind of talk about like how we covered our ass in this, and we don't have to worry about anything because Batman's not a cop. And the Joker starts getting his defense together. It shows him in a room, and he's studying law and everything, and he comes out with his defense about how he's going to hand the Gotham City Police and Batman their asses, by their rules and stuff, because he's sane. So I read it, and I was like, well, that was a good finish. Awkward start, good finish, heavy-handed start, and it just sort of like became more graceful as it went along and stuff, within these pages and stuff. Very effective, right? And this is one of the reasons I kind of wish my computer was fixed, because I would love to like get in there and put up some pages and stuff. I'd put some effort in this, right? But what we have here is a great story. I always say that good science fiction that can be set in the future gets away with talking about social issues, political issues, whatever of our times, by setting them as story in the future, and you get by with stuff, right? This is very subtle. And this is one of those things where I can honestly say this is the first book where I feel like I can project on it, and I'm the Joker in this. I feel like I am the character of the Joker in this, right? Because here's what he's done. This is just an honest look on the current. I mean, look at the news on Marvel. Look at the YouTube channels, the anti-diversity channels that came up, the anti-Marvel channels that come up, the all the variety of what's going on around us with people thinking, and you either have hive minds or you have people with different opinions that just flat out get lied on. I mean, I'm losing viewers up and down. Sorry, guys, but this is a review of this book here, right? And it's like it's really on the pulse for me of what's been going on the last year or two with people, SJWs, anti-SJWs, left, right, and things like that. And it's not heavy-handed. It's not preachy. So what happens is everybody in it becomes a symbol of society now. The ones that are speaking out or in control of what's going on. We have the Joker, who's basically the anarchist. He does his own thing. We bring in personal accountability. Joker doesn't think like the establishment. He doesn't think like they refer to them as SJWs that are rallying around him and having a demonstration outside of the courthouse or Gotham Police Department or something like that. Even though there's rallying there with him, it doesn't really go into him agreeing with them or wanting their support or anything like that. It's personal accountability. We have an individual. The Joker is considered crazy in this because he thinks for himself in this. Batman and Gotham end up becoming the establishment. We got to get this guy. He's been doing this for years. We're in control. We've got everything set up to where we're part of the greater good. And Batman and the police are so sick. The establishment, if you will, are so sick of somebody who will not conform, will not think their way, that Batman literally grabs those pills, and what he's doing is that he's shoving an ideology down his fucking throat, is what that is. So this is where the book really amazed me and jailed, and that was the switch that flipped at me. That's a literal shoving down in somebody's throat of like, had You're going to come around our way of thinking. We've had it with you, you know? And you get the feeling that Batman is so tired of this, of the Joker not conforming, that you really feel like he could kill him. He beat the shit out of him. You know what I mean? He beats the shit out of him, and the Gotham City Police watch. They're all this. We want order. We want it our way here, right? So then what happens is that Joker gets that ideology. I agree. The first issue of White Knight is definitely promising. I'm looking forward to the issue. Yeah, thanks, man. I'm gonna keep my train of thought here. Keep commenting and stuff, and I'll answer some questions. Maybe we can like delve into this together and so Joker gets this, so in a way, by Joker going sane, by having thrown into him, he to a certain extent this changes and does kind of conform, but he starts playing by their rules. And just for a little panel when they show all the SJWs coming up to rally against him and stuff like that, Joker doesn't go that way either. That's very subtle. He didn't go after them. He didn't bash them. He didn't say they were wrong. They were just amazed of like how these people can rally around a killer. And it's another thing about the establishment. Rights for everybody, the law, the rights and everything has got to be even killed. No special treatment. So what he's done very subtly is that he said that anybody that's SJW or anti-SJW or something like that, what he's saying, this is a bolder. I saw this term, this quote I'm going to do, this little phrase I'm doing. I saw this on Twitter and it was perfect, right? Joker has become a boulder in the middle of the road. Anybody that's on the left side of the road or the right side of the road are going to have to go around. They have to change their directions. They're going to get around him. Because what the Joker does is that he learns their rules. It shows him in there studying the law. It ends there building a case. And everybody's sort of like, oh, we got our butts covered and all that stuff. And the Joker shows their hypocrisy both sides by playing by their rules, by holding them accountable. It comes back down to personal accountability is how I'm seeing it and what I'm projecting into it. You see what I'm saying? It's not that he's picked a side. He's like, okay, you want me to play? Here's your ideology. And on this side, here's your rules and your ideology. And you guys are saying I have rights. And hopefully that's what you're wanting to really get out there. But I'm not going to go to extreme on it. I'm going to play by their rules. Here's your rules. And by going by your rules, you guys are hypocrites. And he calls them out. And that feels like that's me sometimes. There's a little bit on this side, there's a little bit on this side. There's things they do I don't agree with. There's things they do I don't agree with. And he just lays it out like, as a lawyer would. Okay, here's your set of rules. This is exactly what you came by. I have your rules, and you've done. You have a vigilante who's not deputized coming after me, breaking laws, putting people in danger, property destruction. You guys beat the hell out of myself, and you're he's not deputized. You guys act like the Batman doesn't exist. And they're like, well, that's right. You're a killer and all this stuff, right? And then he says it. He says, no, I have photos of the bat signal maintained by the Gotham City, force that you shine up into the air when you want Batman to come in and help with the case. And he's got him by the nuts right there. The Joker in the first issue has already won by their rules. The anarchist in this world, the person who Sanity symbol. Hey Tim, jumped on this video midway. Seems I'll definitely be watching this at the beginning. Like, oh, thanks, man. That was game. It's good back to have a comic book of substance to where I can make a video like this, where I can delve in and peel back some layers and stuff, and it's open. It's open to interpretation. This is, like I said, I'm projecting onto this book what I'm feeling is there, but it's written in a way that I think people that read it can do the same thing. But it just amazed me how here is the Joker gets out, shoved down his throat, this ideology here, and he beats them with their own rules. And I love that. I love that. That's the big. And what the Joker has ended up doing is he's more than just become the good guy and Batman the bad guy. He's showing the hypocrisy of people who think in absolutes. Isn't that amazing? The absolutes, you know what I mean? And, so for a first issue, I have no idea where this is going to go now. And that's what's cool about this. I'm ready to pick up the second issue to see if he maintains this understory, this undercourt, this under commentary of what's going on. What else is there to pick apart? What else is there to to kind of expose and to present to the reader of what's there. And like I said, he writes it a way to where you can't tell what side the writer is on. It's like he's done what the Joker has done. He has just presented the evidence by their rules on both sides. You know what I mean? So it's got like cop drama in it, real subtle. I mean, it moves very well, and then you can stop and reread it a second way. So yeah, with Batman White Knight, yeah, I'm gonna kind of end this here, guys, because there's not a lot more to say. But uh, with that, you know, get Batman White Knight. Check it out. Think about it. Come back and comment. I actually want to, anybody that's watching this, I actually want you to thumb up and subscribe because I think this is an important book. And all sides will project ourselves into the Joker's place in the story, and that's and that is a good thing, right? That is a good thing. Shinto Ketchup said that, you know, both sides will project themselves onto the Joker. That's what a character in a story is supposed to do. You're supposed to identify with them on some level. That's why this is good writing. You know what I mean? Even if this thing went far left or far right in the next couple issues or something like that, or anything like that, this first issue has done its job. You know what I mean? You have a character you relate to. That's what a story is supposed to do with a lead protagonist and stuff with a character, right? Yeah, it's not heavy-handed. I will put this book up against anything Marvel has put out where they're preaching. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thanks, Shinto Ketchup. You get it. That's why I like this book. It's making it a conversation piece. It's not making you pick a side. You're seeing everything. And by making that Joker, at least in this first issue, that boulder in the middle of the road where people are going to have to go around change their direction to get around it and stuff, it's fantastic. And it's very subtle. I mean, I'm hyping the book up a little bit, you know, because I'm projecting on it, but I'm not ashamed this time. I'm not ashamed one bit. So, guys, what I'm going to do now is I'm not going to pick up the camera or anything. I don't want shaky cam and stuff, but I'm going to show some pictures, see if we can get them on there and stuff, right? So we'll walk through this a little bit just to see if you want to get the book, all right? So let me find some prime pictures here. But yeah, we got and then the art helps move the story along too. Now we have the Joker standing there, and it's Batman chained to the wall, and still ready to be in defiance. And this is the stuff that does crack me up about comic books sometimes. I think the Batman the Animated Series actually got in here and explained, had a reason for this, but you get put into a state hospital, asylum, if you will, or something like that, and in Arkham they're still allowed to have their costumes on. That cracks me up. Batman would have had his mask off and everybody would have known it was, you know, Bruce Wayne. So it's one of those things that either you can kind of ignore it and just go with the story, or maybe they'll explain it. Cracks me up. But Batman, they made a series, I think they said it was part of their therapy. They didn't want to strip away, it could be damaging to strip away this identity they made, which they're saying is a cushion for their sanity, and you know, from the world a little bit. Cracks me up, man. So it was just fantastic. And then we jump up a year and they do some cute stuff here. There we go. That is the Joker running through town, you know, just raising hell with anarchy behind him and stuff. And he's wearing a Batman shirt, which is hilarious. And at first I thought that was the Joker being funny. But now that I'm doing this video and looking at it and stuff, that's foreshadowing of who the hero in this story is going to be. So there's meticulous things in this that when we read this whole story together, I got a feeling we're going to be able to pick through it and see things. So Sean Murphy, thank you for Batman White Knight. I think I'm actually going to look you up on Twitter and thank you. And we'll just kind of leave it right there, guys. Thanks for all it's tuned in. I don't want to make this a long video. I may do another one here in a minute. But thanks a lot, guys. Bye, Batman White Knight. First book that's really had me excited a while. Later.